Hello my dear children, once again welcome to your physics class. Let's continue with the same chapter oscillations today. In the previous session we had discussed about the total energy of simple harmonic motion and also expressions for velocity and acceleration of simple harmonic motion. It's very important, you should remember those expressions. Today we are going to discuss or we are going to derive an expression for period of oscillation of a spring. You know that spring executes an oscillatory motion. It executes a to and fro motion when this mass is released or stretched to one end and released. Okay, so here consider a spring. K is the spring constant and M is the block of mass attached to the spring. When this block of mass is stretched towards right and then released, it will oscillate to and fro about a mean position. So we can consider this as our mean position because the block is at rest here at this position. So this can be considered as our mean position, x is equal to 0. And when this block is stretched to this end by applying a force and then released, it will execute an oscillatory motion about this mean position. So let's assume the block has extended to a maximum of x is equal to a towards the right, and towards the left suppose the block has extended to a maximum of x is equal to minus a. So x equal to minus a and plus a are the extreme positions and x equal to 0 is the mean position. The block oscillates between x and minus a about this mean position x equal to 0. Now we had already studied about the force law in simple harmonic motion. So in simple harmonic motion, force expression for force is F is equal to minus kx. We had discussed this force law in the previous session. So if it is a simple harmonic motion, the expression for force will be minus kx, where k is this spring constant. And we know that the expression for force is mass into acceleration. So this expression can be rewritten as F equal to ma. So instead of F, substitute ma. Ma equal to minus kx, where a is the acceleration. But we know that acceleration is equal to d square x by dt square, isn't it? Because acceleration is dv by dt, right? And where v is the velocity. And we know that v is dx by dt, isn't it? So acceleration a will be d by dt of v, and what is v? v is dx by dt. Now it will become d square x by dt square. Okay, d square x by dt square. So acceleration a is d square x by dt square. So here we can write m into d square x by dt square equal to minus kx, and this minus kx can be taken to LHS. So m into d square x by dt square plus kx equal to 0, and divide this equation throughout by m. So when you divide first term by m, it will be d square x by dt square plus k by m into x equal to 0. And consider this equation. Let this equation be equation number 1. And compare this equation with the standard differential equation. What is the standard differential equation for SHM? D square x by dt square plus omega square x equal to 0. So this is the standard differential equation. And just compare equation 1 with the standard differential equation. What is the first term? D square x by dt square. Here also it is d square x by dt square. Second term, here it is k by x. Here it is omega square x. So when you compare these two equations, you will get, instead of omega square, here we have k by m. So we can equate omega square is equal to k by m. So that is written here, omega square equal to k by m. Therefore omega is equal to square root of k by m. And we know that omega is angular frequency and it is related to linear frequency nu by this relation, omega equal to 2 pi nu. So 2 pi nu is equal to square root of k by m. from this nu equal to 1 by 2 pi. Okay, take this 2 pi to RHS, so it will become 1 by 2 pi square root of k by m. And then we can move on to the time period. We know that time period t is 1 by nu. It is the reciprocal of this frequency nu. So take the reciprocal of this expression, you will get the time period. So what is the reciprocal of this expression? 1 by 2 pi. Its reciprocal will be 2 pi. Take the reciprocal of k by m. It will be root m by k. So this is the time period of oscillation of a spring. So it's very important and it's very easy also. First you need to find out the differential equation for the oscillation of the spring. Compare that differential equation with the standard differential equation. Obtain the expression for omega. Then obtain the expression for frequency nu. And later obtain the expression for time period t. Okay. Similarly, we need to find out period of oscillation of a symbol pendulum. So children, next we are going to derive an expression for the period of oscillation of symbol pendulum. Okay, so for that consider a pendulum as shown here. So this is the pendulum and this is the bob attached to a spring or string, not spring, attached to a string of length L. So capital L is the length of the string, and when this bob is set into oscillation, it will start to oscillate like this. So we are considering one extreme or one angle of this oscillation, and let this angular displacement be theta. L be the length of the string, and this is our bob. When the pendulum is, or when the bob is taken to this side and released, it will oscillate like this. So this is also the bob. Now here two forces will act on the bob. One force is the tension which acts along the string. Tension of the string will be there and it always acts upward along the string. Okay, then another force will be weight of the bob, that is the gravitational force, weight of the bob, mg or Fg, which is the gravitational force. Now this gravitational force can be resolved into two perpendicular directions, because here you can see two forces are acting on the bob. One is tension of the string, which is along this direction, and another one is weight of the bob, which is acting vertically downwards. So both the forces are acting along different direction. So it's not possible to add or subtract these vectors since it is a vector. Okay. So we need to resolve this weight of the bob into two components. So this vector can be resolved into two mutually perpendicular components. One component acting along this direction and another component acting along this direction, isn't it? Okay, so which is this component? So if this angle is theta, this angle is also theta. So this component will be mg cos theta. It is mg cos theta. Okay, and this component will be mg sin theta. So these are the two components. Now you can see tension and mg cos theta are balanced. They are equal and opposite and will cancel each other. So only which force is left or which component is left? Only mg sin theta is left. And this mg sin theta is the tangential component because it is acting tangent to this curved path. Okay, and this is the arc of that oscillatory motion. When you complete this arc, you will get a circle. So this is a part of the circle and can be considered as arc. Okay, and by the arc radius relation, you will obtain an expression for this arc. What is that? From the arc radius relation, angle theta is equal to arc length by radius. And here what is the arc length? See, when you complete this arc, you will get a circle, and here this will be the center of the circle, and this will be the radius of the circle, and radius of the circle is capital L. So arc length is this is the arc length. arc length by radius is capital L. So therefore arc length is equal to L into theta, isn't it? Arc length is equal to L into theta. So this will be equal to L theta. This arc length is equal to L theta. Okay. Now see, a restoring torque is developed here due to this tangential component of the force. So this tangential component Fg sin theta produces a restoring torque, and that restoring torque is minus Fg sin theta into L, because you know expression for torque is force into perpendicular distance, isn't it? So here the force is Fg sin theta or mg sin theta. Okay, so which component of force is acting along this direction? Mg sin theta, and only this component will be producing a torque here, because mg cos theta is cancelled by this tension. So only mg sin theta is present. So only which component of force is present? Only this component, the tangential component of force is present, and it produces a restoring torque, and that restoring torque is minus Fg sin theta into L, that is minus mg sin theta into L. Mg sin theta is the force component into L, because force into perpendicular distance is the expression for torque. So here force is mg sin theta and perpendicular distance is this distance, that is L. And since it is a restoring torque, a minus sign appears here. So this is the expression for restoring torque. Also, since it is a rotational motion, restoring torque has another expression, that is I alpha. Okay, so we have two expressions for torque, minus mg sin theta L, I alpha. So just equate these two expressions. When you equate these two expressions, you will get I alpha equal to minus mg sin theta into L. Take this minus mg sin theta to the LHS part. So minus will become plus. So you will get I alpha plus mg sin theta L equal to 0. Since this angle theta is very, very small, sin theta can be approximately considered as theta. So we can write I alpha plus mg theta into L equal to 0. This alpha can be considered as d square angular acceleration. So it can be written as d square theta by dt square, isn't it? Linear acceleration we wrote like this, d square x by dt square. So angular acceleration we can write as d square theta by dt square. X is replaced by theta in the case of angular acceleration alpha. So here I into, instead of alpha, which is angular acceleration, we can write d square theta by dt square plus mgl. We can write mgl together, then theta equal to 0. Divide this equation throughout by I. I is the moment of inertia. So d square theta by dt square plus mgl by I into theta equal to 0. Now as we did before, compare this expression with the standard differential equation. Which is the standard differential equation? D square x by dt square plus omega square x equal to 0. When you compare these two expressions, you will get omega square equal to mgl by I. Therefore, omega equal to square root of mgl by I, isn't it? Instead of omega square, here we have mgl by I. So omega square equal to mgl by I. Therefore, omega equal to square root of mgl by I. And omega can be written as 2 pi nu. So 2 pi nu equal to square root of mgl by I. Therefore, nu equal to 1 by 2 pi square root of mgl by I. And time period t is the reciprocal of nu. So time period t is equal to 1 by nu equal to 2 pi square root of I by mgl. But moment of inertia I is ml square in this case. Substitute moment of inertia I is equal to ml square here. So m and m will be cancelled, L square and L will be cancelled. So you are left with L by G here. Therefore time period t equal to 2 pi square root of L by G, or time period t is equal to 2 pi square root of L by G. This is the expression for time period of oscillation of a simple pendulum. This is also very important derivation. You can expect this question for your exam. So practice this derivation thoroughly. So children, with this I am concluding this session, and we will continue with the same chapter in the next session. Notes of the topic and YouTube video have been uploaded. Just go through it. We will meet in the next session very soon. Thank you.